Hey, I want to talk to you real quick about King Solomon, the wisest king that there ever was. There would never be nobody as wiser as King Solomon, right? So God had came to King Solomon and asked him, "Hey, what do you want? You can ask for anything." Solomon said, "I need wisdom. I need wisdom to counsel your people." And God was pleased with that. And God not only gave him wisdom to counsel his people, but he gave him riches. He pretty much gave him everything. But you know, the message that God gave me and inspired me from Solomon was, even though God equipped him with what he needed for wisdom to counsel his people, he chose to eventually deny the counsel of the Lord. And this is important for us to be reminded that no matter what God has given us for someone else's benefit, to help them, to counsel them, to give them wisdom, understand that does not put us in right standings with the holy God to live what kind of way we want to live. And even though Solomon had all the wisdom, more wisdom than anybody in the earth, he still failed to cleave to the wisdom and the counsel of God, even though God extended to him the wisdom and the counsel to lead his people. He went against the very thing that God told him not to mingle with. He told him not to mingle with these women. He said, don't marry these women. He said not to do certain things. And you know what? Solomon had wisdom from other people, but he rejected the wisdom from God eventually because Solomon was so full of himself that it was more about pleasing him and pleasing those that was connected to him. So this is the message for us, that we need to humble ourselves and make sure that we stay at the master's feet, because it's easy to get up as Martha did and try to serve and help, but it requires an obedience and a level of sacrifice to stay at his feet. And don't get it twisted. Just because God can give you wisdom, God can give you understanding, God can give you knowledge, he can give you money, riches, whatever it is, God can give it to you, but that doesn't mean that your responsibility that God has put in your heart to remain at his feet is removed from you. No. You still have the accountability to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, that all things will be added. That is a constant seeking him. There's no such thing as seeking God one time and you're good for the rest of the year. What? No. Seeking God is a lifestyle. Inquiring of God is a lifestyle. Praying, fasting, worshiping God is a lifestyle. God can give you something today, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be in right standings in the next 2 days. We have to constantly keep a fresh relationship, fresh, healthy relationship with God. And Solomon did not keep a healthy relationship with God because the blessing of God became a stumbling block to him, because he chose to make decisions outside of what God was covering, outside of God's endorsement. And because of it, there was consequences for his actions. So I want to encourage all of us for us to examine our ways and never draw confidence based on what God has blessed you with. Draw confidence based on living a life that complements what God endorses. Because it's so easy to get caught up and confused because I'm able to accomplish, because I can do some things, because I'm able to talk, or because I'm able to help somebody. It's easy to be confident in the ability to do, not realizing that the ability to do was based on God's ability to give to you or to us. If Solomon would have allowed the relationship with God to be the priority, then he wouldn't have failed the way he failed against God. So I want to encourage you to make God's relationship a priority in your life, because one day God will remind you if you did or if you did not. All right? That's it. Stay encouraged.